The Illusion of Living, an original Joey Drew memoir. Okay, I'm gonna read this because I feel like I wanted to. So let's place this on here and shall I begin? Oh, shall I not? You know what? Should I read it like this? Alright. Oh, yeah, this one's better. I think you can read it by yourself. Let's flip the book. Yellow. I'm going to only read a little bit because I want them to make money. So okay. Wait, Joey Drew Studio. Okay. All I want is to share joy with with the world. I want to teach the world that when they watch Bendy and Boris and Alice, they aren't just watching cartoons, they are watching themselves. I want folks to laugh and to see a positive reflection of their lives, to understand that dreams are reality and reality is a dream. Not everyone can do this, but I can. Joey Drew. I want this book to not be ruined. So, I don't want. This book is perfect looking, and from what I've heard from other YouTubers reading this one, the book is actually pretty good. Okay. The Illusion of Living first found its way onto the shelves in 1942. It was a moment in our country history full of agonies and turmoil, and Joey Drew, who was a good friend and someone I had known since we'd been teenagers. I thought that this book might be of help to a nation of crisis. Indeed, it is firm belief that had readers not been so deeply invested in stories about the horror of the world and saving vested in stories about the horror of the world, savage satires, or the complete opposite, desiring to close their minds with silly, pointless diversions. They might have found a true vision in the memorial treaties, a true hope for the future and motto for how to live a life full of positivity. As it was, the sale upon the original release of the book were not what anyone hoped for. But Joy Drew, ever the optimistic, didn't get upset. He knew that the world would be ready for his words. When the world was ready, I could feel that the time has come, and the world is ready against for Joy Drew particular philosophy. Further in. I'm just gonna hold it. Like, the years since the man has passed. Some untruths have come to the surface. Some rumors and backlash. The fact that the studio collapsed in such unceremonious fashion, I have no doubt, contributed to suspicions that Joichi was not the genius he truly was. The wildly unfair and the rewriting of the history as a blemish, not just on those who wrote on the studio itself. Itself. Man, I lost. Oh, but a deep, dark reflection of our current societal interest in singleism over optimism. Over the years, I have collected every single piece of the studio's memorabilia I could find to restore it to a former glory, to create, in a sense, a private museum that gleamed with a true vision of Joey Drew. It's never felt quite like enough. and I found myself searching for a way that moved beyond just the personal properties that restored not just the original animation cells and comics, the public memory. Bendy was Joey's child and felt just as strongly as about Bendy as I feel about my flesh and blood son. My goal is to restore the name of Joey Drew to the history books as one of the greatest contributors the animation has ever known. Hence, the 1972 release of the original Illusion of Living, unedited, just as it released 30 years earlier, save for the few footnotes of your truly to help contextualize some writing for the commentary reader. I hope this book inspires you as it inspires me. I hope the spirit of Joey Drew inspires you as it did for many generations. I hope that we can share the positivity of his philosophy and truly makes at long last Joey Drew a dream come true. Okay, for now on, I'm just gonna read it. I'm not gonna. You can. I'm probably gonna add something on the background so you don't get bored of watching a black screen. But I'm just gonna read it. I'm gonna read until the page 5, which is a few more pages long. So okay. There are one things that every self-made man get asked at some point of his life. How do you do it? How do you go from a point A to a point B? It might be so that you can copy his action or question his motives, but in the end, they all want to know one thing. I've been asked so many times over the illusionist career at a different point B's. You could say, when I opened the studio, when I started my first million, when I expanded, the more real estate I bought, the more movies I made. How did you get here, Mr. Drew? How did you get here? I've been told so many times to write my story. I've been told many memoirs would become a bestseller. I've been told many things. My story is a good one, but I never really have the urge to put pen to paper. I I I to go back to the past. My ways before me, the long road in front, fading into the distant horizon, not knowing what to come. But son, I'm heading in the right direction. Looking back is awkward. Looking back, you can trip yourself up, and I'll never been a fan of it. Which is why I never had the desire to tell my story. No matter how many books deals were offered, no matter how many dinners were thrown for me. I'm a man who makes up his own mind. You can't buy me. No one buys Joey Drew. Then something happened. It was a conversation. This conversation I had with my driver, Simon. He picked me up on a lunch, and I was amid a little agony. Mr. Drew, he said, you okay? I can tell something's ain't right. Simon, you have no idea. Are you asking again, sir? I looked out the window. It tinted dark. Saw everything outside has the appearance of storm brewing. We were driving up Fifth Avenue. We passed a woman walking out one of those large train dogs. You know the kind I mean. The ones that are tall, thin, stretched out like shadows of a dog, but their fur is long. It seems like some creature Bendy have confronted. Something that would turn fronts facing and just disappear, or slip through a crack in the floor and reappear something else, oozing out from under a door frame. So I distracted Simon and asked, are they asking, sir, about the memoir? Of course they are. Of course, yes. Of course they are. I replied, checking out my contemplation. I don't know. Why do you just tell them, sir? Tell them what about, Simon? About my father and the shoe store? About the Signal Corps in World War One? About raising the capital back in the day to start the studio out of the revenue? And what else? That moment, when Benny first came to me, it's a good story, but there's no purpose to it. We know how it goes, and the ending is still a long way off. No, sir, I mean about the reason for it all. That thing you told me about life, your philosophy. Now, Simon was not exactly what anyone was call a deep thinker. He was a good fellow, a hard worker, and that always been the most important thing to me. So I was surprised when he said it was philosophy. But when I even more surprised that he remembered it all. When I shared with him one late night traveling to the airport to my penthouse after returning from another successful round of meeting in Hollywood. I had stayed with him. My words. Well, that's not a memoir assignment, but I was already thinking, whoever said my life had to be a memoir? Whoever said I needed to color within the lie, as they say? I never played by any rules book by my own. A rule book, I said carefully, sir. A treatise. At this point, Simon has no idea what I was going to talking about. I didn't expect to, but maybe now, maybe when he finished this book, you just like when you, dear reader, finish this book, maybe you will understand. It's not how I made it here, how I always been here. It's where is here, what is here, the definition of here, and am I here to share that with you? Okay, that's the introduction of Joey Drew Sting. Yeah, the only thing I can think of. Yeah, it was really good. It was actually a strong introduction, and I'm surprised I could read it. Well, until next time, my friends. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll upload it tomorrow, I think. And if it's not, like maybe 2 weeks later, I'll read it again. Well, I really like this book, so maybe later, maybe not. I just hope that I'll just get some likes because I need some videos to make some quality content. Quality equals quantity, quality over quantity. Just like what Rosie Closey said. But yeah. Anyways, have a nice day, guys, and I'll read this book later.